Just this last weekend, we saw one of the biggest boxing fights, not just of the year, but potentially one of the biggest boxing fights in the last decade in terms of two fighters in their prime, matched up against one another, undefeated records, both young. I mean, it was really just a blockbuster fight. But Ryan Garcia got tagged in the 7th with a liver shot off southpaw Tank Davis, throwing that right in. And one of the big questions that I have, and I'm sure many of you have, is do you think Ryan quit? Could he have got back up? Today, after watching the clips over and over and over, you're gonna have the opinion of a professional fighter and whether Ryan Garcia was actually so injured he couldn't get up, or whether he decided to just stay down because, things weren't going so well for him at that point. Guys are probably watching the episode right now going, what is Gabriel wearing? What is happening with those socks? I finished a workout outside. It's starting to get warm. It's starting to get beautiful out. I did not want to be wearing a whole lot of clothes, but now I'm chilled to the bone. And I just went, you know what? I want some warm socks on. And I don't feel like taking them off for this episode. So I hope you guys can deal with that, but at least I'm toasty warm. So we're talking about Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Davis. Now, the first thing that I want to point out is Ryan Garcia specifically made reference so many times to the fact that he trained so hard for this fight. So I'm assuming that when he went in there, he was prepared, which means his body was probably very prepared. He was probably doing lots of conditioning, getting used to taking hard shots, and he's not soft by any means. So for him to get knocked down in the 7th means a couple things happened. It was not lazy training that led to this knockdown. First off, it is much easier to take a shot, whether it's head or the body, when you see it coming and you're able to protect. Now, generally, as we throw a shot, because many people are thinking offensively, they're not able to go offense and defense at the same time, at least not in every moment. So as he's throwing his shot, he's extended, he is now not thinking defensively. You can absolutely tighten your core and be very strong in your stomach as you throw, but it's hard to do it every time. So my suspicion is he threw his shot, he was a little bit too relaxed in the midsection, and then he took impact. And I want to take a quick pause before we continue on with this topic to just give a shout out to the sponsor of this episode, XMartial. Wearing shorts, wearing a rash guard from them. Fantastic company, fantastic gear, and just one of my favorites because they always have fun designs. That's just so cool. I'm gonna come a little closer so you guys can see it. It's just such a fun rash guard to be able to wear. You can head over to XMartial.com. I actually have a link below which you can click on, and you can use a promo code Gabriel Varga to save 10%. Now, something we need to understand before we get too critical of Ryan and getting knocked down, maybe not getting back up when he should have, is what happens scientifically when the liver gets hit. And I wish my brother was around because he's in med school and he could explain this far better than me, but I'm gonna do my best. As I understand, we have the vagus nerve, which originates in the brain stem. This travels down to many different spots in the body, one of which being the liver that we're talking about, which is an organ. Now, the rib cage covers this organ, which needs to be protected, but upon high impact in that area, what can happen is the ribs will shift, they'll end up hitting the liver, which sends shock waves through it. Now, massive impact to the liver sends a message up the vagus nerve to the brainstem, and the vagus nerve ends up stimulating a response. It tells the blood pressure to decrease. Now, very often when blood pressure decreases, the heart rate increases, but in this instance, the heart rate will also drop. So we have the heart rate dropping, and we have blood pressure dropping. As I understand, this equals a decreased cardiac output, which equals lack of blood to the brain. And all this information, all this travel time, taking impact, the liver getting rocked, sending shockwaves to the vagus nerve, all of this takes moments. So that's why it's not hit and drop right away. It's hit, back up, okay, all this stuff is happening in the body, and then you drop down. Now, I cannot say how bad this is because I've never had this sensation before. Yes, I've been hit to the body, but I've never been dropped with a body shot, and I've never gone, oh, okay, my body is just shutting down involuntarily. So I am just delivering you guys information, but I'm not able to empathize with this situation because it has not happened to me. Hopefully it never does. But I've seen many people online harshly judging Ryan for going down and just going, oh, you know what? He gave up. He 100% gave up. And my first question would be to them, have you ever received a body shot? Have you ever received a body shot with the impact that Tank Davis can deliver? But having said that, and having recognized all the science behind it and how traumatic it can be on the body, one of the interesting things about this punch, even though we already mentioned that Ryan is extended out mid-punch and he's not able to protect himself in the same way, Gervonta does not look like he gets a lot of power behind that left hook to the body. It looks like a relatively weak shot, which causes many people to be skeptical about, oh, did he just bow out because things were getting a little difficult because he got knocked down in the second to the head and the rounds weren't going his way? Did he maybe quit? But for me, that's not even enough. I go, you know what? He got caught. All the science which we talked about occurred in the body, even though it wasn't a crazy hard shot. At this point, I'm not questioning whether Ryan quit or not. I just went, his body would not do what it wanted. The one question I do have though, is he backs up, he takes a knee. You can tell he's kind of like, okay, the count's going through. He looks like he tries to get up around 8 or 9, and then he just shakes his head and goes, no. That's okay. But he doesn't stay there. As soon as the ref hits 10 and he waves it off, then he gets up. And that to me is just a little bit odd. Did his body rebound in that little couple second period, even less than a couple seconds? Because he could have got up 1 second earlier, made the count, and continued fighting. Or did he just realize in that moment that, you know what, I can hardly even deal with this pain right now, and if I get up, Gervonta is going to be on me, and I'm just better off calling it quits right now and taking the loss. That is definitely something which I'm not sure about. It's definitely something which has crossed my mind. I'm going, how could you get up as soon as the ref waves the fight off, but you couldn't have got up 1 second earlier? And yes, maybe in that moment he just went, this is the smart choice. And to a certain extent, I can empathize, because when I fought Robin van Roosmalen in Glory and I was defending one of these belts here, he caught me with a couple headshots. And at the end of the 4th round, my brother asked me, oh, can you knock this guy out? You have to knock him out now to win. And I said, no, I can't knock him out. I just don't have enough left in me right now. My brother said, what's the point in doing the last round? And I went, no. So we're gonna call it? And my brother went, yeah, let's call it. Let's not take any more damage. So maybe Ryan in that moment recognized, you know what? It's gonna be very hard to come back after this knockdown. And then I got knocked down to the head. Things might get worse going on, so I will do the smart thing and bow out. I think that is a real possibility, but I'm not saying he quit in the sense, oh, I don't respect Ryan. I actually go, if that's a decision he made for the future of his career and his health, I actually give him an applause. Yes, many fighters, many people say you should go out on your shield, you should put everything in. I go, you know what? Get in there, give it your best shot. When you realize things are not going your way, you don't have to leave a flat out horizontal carcass which got KO'd and could potentially have damage that's going to last a lifetime. So do I have an answer for you 100%? Did Ryan quit? Did he not? No, but if he did quit, I do not hold it against him. I have seen some fighters like Chavez who says, I will never watch another Ryan Garcia fight again because he did not stand up and fight like a man. Essentially, that's what he's saying. No more respect for this guy because he quit. And that's not the case for me. I don't have trouble with fighters who go, you know what, it's not my night, but I have a whole career ahead, and in this moment, it's gonna call it. He fought his heart out until that point. I'll give him that. He was throwing down. He was the one pressuring early on to create an actual fight. So props to him for that. What do you guys think? Do you think, you can comment below, do you think he should have gone out on his shield and that he quit, or just the liver shot was so incapacitating that he just could not get up no matter how hard he tried? And that's really all I want to talk with you guys about today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you enjoyed getting to hear what a professional fighter thinks about the whole situation. And if you enjoyed it, please give it a like. If you haven't already, join the channel, get subscribed. As always, guys, train hard. I'll see you back here soon for another episode.